Here with Long Island Audit, and we're going to step in with him real quick. He just posted this. He had a situation where, he went up to the private residence of a state trooper and knocked on the door, and the state trooper first went inside to get a gun, and then, the trooper told him to leave, and he started leaving, right? He was backing out, leaving. The state trooper followed him with a gun, spit in his face, and then, had a bunch of cops show up, and the dude got arrested just simply for being there, a bunch of bullshit charges. And so he's addressing people right now and talking about some stuff with that. But I'm going to make a very important point regarding why it is that the citizenry should be allowed to record the police. And I bring that up in regards to right now, Texas has made it illegal to record the police. And so this just shows you why it is so important to be able to record them, because they're obviously not against recording, because they're recording. They just don't want you to be recording, right? So it's laws for thee, not for me, is the sign of tyranny. So let's check some of this out.
Investigation I'm conducting is not going to stop at Sergeant Fahey. It's going through. I'm looking at everybody's timesheets. I'm looking at everything because there's a reason why this is happening. And I am going to investigate the state police, the Groton Police Department. Oh, and you know what I found out? The police chief of Groton was a Connecticut state trooper for 22 years. So he worked alongside Sergeant Brian Fahey for 22 years. That's funny. And then he gets a job at the police chief. Must be nice. These guys, they talk about how, we're underpaid. This guy's collecting a pension. The police chief of Groton is collecting a pension. And now he's a police chief, getting a six-figure salary. Shame on that. Double dipping against the taxpayers.
Massachusetts. Would the situation have been different if you didn't have a camera there that day?
I would have been dead.
You would have been dead.
He would have killed me.
That's why he spit.
He would have killed me because he bumped into me several times, and this is why I love the camera. This is why they hate the camera, because the camera shows you. Because imagine there wasn't a camera, I'd have been dead. He would have told you that I threatened him. He already said he lied. I threatened his life. I never threatened his life.
So having the camera can be the difference between life and death in many situations. And that can be the difference between getting a charge and not getting a charge. Because if he didn't have that camera recording it, then they would have went off whatever the police said. And their footage would have been quietly reviewed. And had the footage showed any different than the testimonial, it would have been quietly tucked away. And no one would have talked about it because they had the only footage, which is what they want. It is to control the information, to control the knowledge. And that, my friends, is a sign of tyranny. And a smart man once said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Defiance of tyranny is love of freedom. You're afraid of one of these more than the other, okay? Are you afraid to live on your knees? Or are you afraid to die on your feet? Because those who are afraid to live on their knees will never capitulate to tyranny. Those who are afraid to die on their feet will always capitulate to tyranny under the threat of death on your feet. So there are things worse than dying, such as living on your knees.
He threatened my life. He was setting up a scenario where he can unload his clip into my body and take my life.
That's what he did.
Thank God for my camera. He saved my life that day. He was heroic. He kept recording. I don't know too many people didn't even flinch in the face of.
And so that begs the question, how many other times has this happened? That seems to be a common work practice for this trooper and the police chief, which worked with him for 22 years. And that is called corruption. It is laws for thee, not for me. when laws do not equally apply. See, the word law in itself is a misnomer anyway. What we call a law is not a true law. Anything that can be broken is not a law. The only actual laws are the natural scientific laws that hold true in every observable circumstance. Those are the only true laws. Anything else does not have the legitimacy to call itself law. So what we have here is rules and regulations anyway, first and foremost, before we go on. So when those rules and regulations are unequally applied, that is the stench of tyranny. That is making it a clear distinction between the ruling class and then those getting ruled. That is making a clear distinction, attempting to subvert and steal the sovereign autonomy of the people. And the only way that this can happen is to manipulate and coerce the people into relinquishing their divine sovereignty. That is the only way that this can happen, which it does happen in many countries. But it can only happen off of the power of the people. The people is what empowers the government, because the government stands on the back of its people in all situations.
Didn't even flinch, held the camera steady. I've seen other people record the police, they're shaky and everything. And I understand, I used to be that way. Team's first time recording the police exercising his rights. Working for me as a cameraman, and he didn't flinch.
Good man. The irony is that when you stepped onto his porch, you went, oh, I'm being recorded. You backed off. The funny thing about it, if you didn't have a camera there that day, his camera footage would probably disappeared.
Do you have any sound?
It didn't record.
Right. Give me any sound.
No, of course. That would have.
Exactly, and that happens all the time. When you're the only one with the footage, a lot of times, if that footage goes against the narrative written down by the officers, which clearly contradicts, then that footage gets disappeared. Then there was a technical difficulty. There was you don't know what happened. You hit the button, it just didn't record. You don't know what happened, just the sound didn't record. Some kind of bullshit. Always some kind of bullshit.
And asking him a question. Voyeurism. That's a disrespect to my reputation. That's like a sex crime. It's ridiculous. It's a felony. I get charged with a sex crime. His freak self spit in my mouth. It's a disgusting animal. I've said it from day one, and he's proven it every single time. He's a savage, he's an animal, he's a criminal. There's a lot of stories out there that I cannot tell right now, but stay tuned. There's a lot of stories that I've been savage,